Hi everyone. A very good evening to the last. A very good evening and welcome you all to the last day of Cloud 101 under TechDrill by JDG WTM Jalandhar. Today we are going to wrap this up and we'll also talk about what we can do next, what we have to do next, and how you can build your projects given by the mentor. The channel will be active throughout the Discord channel and will be answering questions, your doubts, whenever there will be. With that, yeah, once again, thank you everyone for being there with us for all these days and joining online from 7 to 8 p.m. We loved spending time with all of you after so long time. And this will again happen in the next like coming weeks, and we'll be wrapping up various technologies and various technical topics. So once again, welcoming you all to the last day of Cloud 101 under TechDrill. With that, over to you, Reg. Let's start this and wrap this up.
Yeah. So hello everyone. Hi. Good evening. So this is the last day for the tech drill for the Cloud 101. So as of now we have covered the topic like cloud, where we have talked about the cloud. We have talked about the Google Cloud Platform, and then there are the demo part, like how we can access the Google Cloud Platform with the SDK or the applications on the website. And then we have talked about the compute services, and we have created a sample web applications over the with the help of compute services. And then we have a storage services, and then we have cloud services. So this is the last day. So if I talk about in terms of summary, so we have started day one, where we have talked about the cloud. So cloud is just like as a computer where we can uh, upload any file, or where we can do anything with the help of that computer. And that computer will be located in any XYZ locations, and your computer, you can access this computer through the internet, and this is a part of cloud. So you can use this computer, means the virtual machines, in many ways. Like either you can use that virtual machine as a server, or you can use virtual machine as a storage, or you can use virtual machine as a database. Or if you're working on a networking things, like you can still access those virtual machines with the help of networking tools and the softwares. So this is all about the cloud, means it's a part of the computer where you are accessing that computer over the network, and you don't know about the locations of that particular computer. It will automatically scale once the user is increasing or the load is increasing. And then we have talked about the infrastructure as a services, platform as a services, and the software as a services. like uh, you can use cloud as an infrastructure as a services, means you are using the virtual machines. You are using the core fundamental of that particular virtual machines, like the hard drive, the RAM, the overall virtual machines. It's all about the infrastructure as a services. And then we have talked about the platform as a services, like you are accessing an infrastructure plus some sort of magical tools which are responsible for, let's say, load balancing, scalability, and there are a lot of things. So which is a part of platform as a services. And then last we have a software as a services, is there like there is a XYZ solution which is running on a cloud system, so which is a part of software as a services. So you can create a software. Let's say I'm creating a software name is xyz.com, and I have put my solutions over the cloud, and you are the end user, you are accessing net solutions, so which is a part of SAS. So software as a services is just like you are running a software through the cloud services, and there is an end users, and those end users are using those software using the cloud. And like in the market, there is a multiple cloud services provider. There is a cloud services provider like GCP is providing a Google Cloud Platform, the Google is, and then we have a Microsoft which is providing Azure as a solutions for the cloud services provider. And similarly, we have AWS, and then um, SAP Cloud. There are multiple cloud services providers who are providing the cloud services. And then we have talked about the specifically for the cloud deployment, like how we as a developer or we as a users can access these cloud services or the platform. So like first one is public cloud. Public cloud means like anyone can access the cloud services. We just need to authenticate our account and then we can access the cloud services. This is all about the public cloud. But if I talk about the private cloud, which means like the access will be shared with some set of private set of users. Like no one can access that particular cloud services until unless the user has a special access for accessing those cloud services. So which is a part of private cloud. So if you are working on a, let's say, large scale companies or MNCs, so they are working in the private cloud solutions where they are doing some R&D kind of research. So, which is a part of private cloud means the company employers only able to access those services with and this is example for the private cloud. But if I talk about the hybrid cloud, so hybrid cloud means some part of the cloud is public and the some part of the cloud is private. So like if I talk about the public cloud, which may be example of GCP, Azure, AWS, because anyone can create an account over the cloud services provider and then access those services respectively for their development or the solutions. And if you are working on MNCs or the R&D kind of things, then you are accessing the cloud private cloud services, which is a part of private cloud. And some of the company which is providing a private as well as public services, then you are accessing a hybrid cloud. Then we have talked about the Google Cloud. So Google Cloud is a combination of Google Cloud Platform and the Google Workspace. So where Google Cloud Platform is a part of IaaS and the PaaS. Means with the help of GCP, you can create an infrastructure for that your applications, or you can create some magical tools with the help of GCP, which is a part of IaaS and the PS. But if I talk about the Google Workspace, which is a part of SAS, means Google is providing a software as a services, like you are using Gmail, Google Drive, Google Calendar, Google Docs. These all are the solutions which have built over the cloud platform, and this is a part of software as a services. And there is a multiple companies who are providing in the market as a software as a services like Salesforce, or let's say right now you're using Google Meet, which is running on a SAS kind of SAS service over the GCP, the Google Cloud. And Google Cloud providing a lot of services means the Google Cloud platform with the help of Google Cloud platform, which is a part of IaaS and the PS, means you can build anything, you can store anything, and you can perform some analytics operations based on your requirement or the solutions. So it's all about there is a multiple services inside GCP you can access, but some of the like these services is categorized into the some part of specific like functionalities. So like we have a complete services, we have storage services, we have machine learning as a services, and then if you are working on a big data or if you're working on a networking, so there are multiple services inside GCP you can access. So in previously we have talked about the complete services where basically we can run our code, like you can we as a developer we can write a code, like if you are working on a, let's say, C++ language, so you can write some sort of programs and we can run those programs over the complete services. Or if you are working on a mobile applications development, still you can access or you can run your mobile solutions over the complete services. So in the compute services, Google Cloud Platform is providing a lot of services inside compute services. But in this 7 days, we have talked about the compute services, app engine, and the cloud functions. So where like Google Compute Engine is just like as a fully customizable service. Here you can create a virtual machines. So like in 2 days before the yesterday or maybe day for about yesterday, we have talked about how we can create a virtual machines. Like we have created a configurations like how much RAM we can use for dedicated for that particular virtual machines, or we have configured the storage capacity, storage type like SSD or the normal hard drive. So it's all about the compute engine, means where we can create a virtual machine which is very fully customizable. It's totally up to you how much configurations you want. And then you can create a virtual machines. You can access the virtual machines over, let's say, public network or the private network. And you can select any operating system. Like if you are working on a Windows, then you can select Windows Server, or if you are working on Linux or let's say Ubuntu kind of Ubuntu operating system, then you can select the operating system, and then you can access these virtual machines over the SSH or the command line tools, means the Google Cloud Shell. So talking about the Google Compute Engine, which is very customizable, but which is very hard to maintain, because here we need to, like once the user is increasing, then we need to increase the capacity of our system. So here, this is very less in terms of manageable, but it is very comfortable in terms of customizing the configurations. Then we have a Google Compute Engine. So Google Compute Engine is very fully managed services, like where we don't need to customize. Yeah, still there is they are providing a lot of customizing kind of features for the virtual machines, but it's a fully managed services. We don't need to worry about the infrastructure or the capacity of my virtual machines. We just need to focus on the code. So let's say I've written a backend logic with the help of Node.js or the Python. We just need to focus on the code part and the testing part, and we just need to deploy those code over the Google Compute Engine. And remaining, Google will take care all about the scalability or the load balancing part. So it's a part of PAS, means it which is responsible for some magical tools which are uh, mainly responsible for the scalability or the load balancing. And Google Compute Engine is mainly suitable for, let's say, if you are creating a REST APIs or the backend business logic, then you can host these your entire solutions or the backend logic over the Google Compute Engine. It will automatically handle the load about the users. When the user is more than the capacity, it will automatically increase the capacity of your virtual machines. And yeah, man, you can do anything. And you can host your applications with just 3 lines of command. First, you need to type gcloud add deploy, and with the help of single command, you can able to deploy your web applications over the Google Compute Engine, and then you can access your web applications over the Compute Engine. You just need to type the command Google gcloud app browse. So this is very easy here. Like if you can go to the dashboard about Google Compute Engine, you will find a lot of informations about the usage or the CPU capacity. You can create a microservices with the help of Google Compute Engine. And then we have the cloud functions. So cloud function is fully managed and it's work on a serverless architecture. Means uh, where we as a developer, we just need to focus on the code part. We just not need to worry about the infrastructure or managing the virtual machines or managing the error part. So it's a fully scalable, fully serverless, fully managed like solutions for the developers. If we as a developer, we don't want to take a lot of tensions related to deployment or managing infrastructure, then you can host your solutions over the cloud functions. And the cloud functions, whenever like mainly suitable for, let's say, event based like triggers. So let's say some user is writing some content on the database, then you can trigger or then you can write some business logic over the cloud functions which will trigger based on events. Like the data is created, then you can trigger the cloud functions. And yeah, this is a little bit costly because it's a fully managed and it's a fully work on the serverless architecture. Serverless architecture means you don't need to mainly focus on the managing the infrastructure or scalability of your applications or the load balancing of your application, where we just need to focus on the code part, and then we need to just deploy the applications over the cloud functions. So it's all about serverless architecture. Then we have talked about this storage services, like whenever you have a file or maybe you have a data, so we need to store our data or maybe files. So Google Cloud is providing multiple services over the over the storage services. So here, yesterday we have talked about the cloud storage. So cloud storage is just like whenever you have a file, let's say PDF file or the object file or the media file. So you can store these type of files over the cloud storage, and you can store these file over the buckets. Like here, first we need to create a buckets, and inside buckets we can create a directory, and then we can upload those files. And your file will be encrypted whenever you are accessing those file over the, let's say, applications. So there will be app encryptions, and then you can provide some sort of access securities, like let's say XYZ type of users can see or read the file. So we can provide like role based security over the cloud storage. And then we have a big tables. So cloud big tables mainly, like whenever you are working on, let's say, large amount of data. Like I'm not talking about the GB or TB. It may be more than petabyte or the zettabyte of data. So here, if I talk about performing the operations like CRUD operations, where we can create a data, we can read the data, we can update the data, or we can perform delete operations over the data. So if I talk about, like, we have a large amount of data, it means maybe more than zettabyte or petabyte data, and then we want to perform CRUD operations. So then you can use the concept of big tables, which is managed NoSQL database. So NoSQL means unstructured database, and then you can perform like very very high performant queries within a millisecond or within a second. You will get the result from highly amount of data. So like this is how like Google is working on, let's say Google is storing their data or over the YouTube with the help of big tables. Like whenever you are searching some videos over the in the YouTube, so you will find the result within a millisecond, because Google is using the storing their data with big tables. So similarly, Google is using uh, like Google Maps is working on big tables, and similarly for Google search result is working on big tables, because you can perform like very large operations within a millisecond with the help of cloud big tables. But this solution is very costly if you have a less amount of data. Like if you have a 1 GB of data, or maybe if you have a TB of data, or if you are working on a cloud big tables, then your solutions is this will be very costly. But if you have a large amount of data, then you can use the concept of big tables. Now, then we have Cloud SQL or Cloud Spanner, which is a part of structural database. Structural data means we have a structure or the schema. So we can store the data in terms of rows or the columns, which is a part of tables. So here in the Cloud SQL, you can create any database. Like if you are working on a MySQL database or PostgreSQL or the SQL Server, then you can create the database over the Google Cloud Platform, and which is fully managed services. We just need to focus on the database part. We don't need to worry about the scalability of my data, or the let's say load about the capacity of my data. Like at a time, let's say millions of users are accessing that database. So we just need to focus on the scalability where my database is running. So you don't need to worry about the scalability. It will automatically handle. And still there are a lot of features like automatically backup. Like you can provide some sort of triggers, like at that particular time you will get the backup, and then you can like provide a firewalls up on the database. Like the database will be accessible through any network, or you can provide some set of subnetting or the IP address. Like this database is mainly accessible through XYZ IP address. And then we have a cloud spanner. So like if I talk about the Google like the SQL database, so we have some sort of limitations. Like you can store the data up to 30 GB in the SQL database. But if you have a lot of amount of data in terms of structural data, and you have more than 30 TB of data, then you can go for the cloud spanner, because MySQL database, PostgreSQL database, or the SQL Server database has a limitations about 30 TB. You cannot store the data more than 30 TB. So if you want to store a data more than 30 TB in a structural format, then you can use go for the Cloud Spanner. So Cloud Spanner support horizontal scaling, means you can store very highly amount of data, and you can data specifically structural database, and then you can perform very rich queries. You can perform like with low latency will find the data. And then we have Cloud Firestore. So mainly Cloud Firestore is specifically designed for the manage NoSQL Server database, like in Google Cloud Platform. So when we talk about the NoSQL database, means unstructured database, so we have two options like Cloud Big Tables and the Cloud Firestore. So cloud big tables is usually preferred for, let's say, whenever you are working on a zettabyte of data or the petabyte of data, then you can use cloud big tables. But if I have a data which is maybe less than 1 TB, or let's say zettabyte or petabyte, then we can go for the cloud firestore, where we can use this database as a unstructured, it's a part of unstructured database. And yeah, it's a fully managed scalable solutions where you can store the data in terms of collections, and inside collections you can create multiple documents, and each documents can have a multiple fields. And it will support offline support. Let's say you are out of the internet and you have a data, so you can still access the data with the help of Cloud Firestore, and it will automatically scale. You can trust on the security part, because Cloud Firestore is providing a Firebase security rules, where you can provide a security, or you can write a rules for individual collections, like what type of users can access out of, let's say, collections. So you can provide this kind of security with the help of security rules. So this is all about the cloud service, the complete services where we can run our code. And if you want to store my data, then we can use the storage services. So with the help of two main services, you can create any applications. So let's say we can create a resume, we can host our resume or the portfolio with the help of complete services. And for hosting my resume over the complete services, we have a multiple solutions, like you can host your website or the portfolio with the help of complete services, or the app engine, or you can use cloud functions. It's totally up to you. It's depend on the users. And if you are working on a portfolio where you can store the informations about your project, then you can store the images in the Google Cloud Storage. And in the portfolio, you can add a sections like contact us. So you can create a contact form, and then you can store those raw data, or the contact data in a database. Like you can use Cloud SQL, or you can use Cloud Firestore. Whenever you are working on unstructured database, then you can use Cloud Firestore. So talking about what next, like we have already shared the quick labs or the Google Cloud Skill Boost Credit, the labs specific code, where you can just go to the Google Cloud Skill Boost website, and then you can just redeem that code. And here we have a path. You can just go to the path, getting started with Google Cloud Learning, and then here we have our labs. So once you enroll the labs, and you will be able to see the lectures. So here we have a detailed descriptions, like what is a cloud computing, what is Google Cloud Platform, what is IaaS, PaaS, how we can access the cloud platform with the help of, let's say, SDK or the website or the mobile applications. So here there will be a labs. You will get the batches for individual labs, and also you will get some sort of the specific demo account, where you can perform some operations, like you can uh, you will get a like you can perform hands-on experience labs with, let's say, hosting web applications over, let's say, app engine or the complete engine. So talking about one more step, like it's all about it's not all about the theoretical part, it's all about the practical approach. So like in the day one, we have talked about more about the cloud services and the GCP, and then we just jumped into the compute services, like how we can create a virtual machines over the GCP platform, and how we can access the virtual machines. And then we have talked about the app engine we have, where we have hosted our simple web applications over the app engine. And then you got an exposure about the database services, like how we can create a cloud SQL database, how we can access those database with the help of, let's say, MySQL Workbench. So here is the next step, like you can write a blogs, and you can receive the certificate from our end. It's all about the learning. So there will be a feedback, so you can share the feedback and you can write the blogs over on the compute services. Like inside compute services, there is a multiple services, like you can talk about the compute engine, app engine, you can talk about the cloud functions, when on which cases we can use those engine. Let's say we have a less budget, or then we can, what type of solutions we can use for hosting my solutions on which services in a compute. So you can talk about the use case scenario, you can talk about the storage services uh, in a details. You can write a blogs, and the deadline is around 30th of July. And here mainly in the blog, you just need to like talk about two things, like the compute services and the storage services. And inside compute services, there is a multiple services, so you can write a content, like in terms of practical approach, like how we can create a virtual machines, or how we can host our solutions over the GCP. So you can mention the steps. It's all about your learning, and then you can follow the course over the Google Cloud Skill Batch, and you will get the batches. And we will share the Google form for the feedback, and where you can mention your blogs. And then after the submission of your blogs, after reviewing, and we will share the certificate for the completion for the TechDrill 101. So yeah, I'm open for the questions. Hope you enjoy the cloud series 101. It's more about the practicals, not more about the the theoretical part, where we have talked about a lot of things. So like, yeah. Oh, so if you have any questions, you can ask your questions. Okay, so thank you so much. I hope you have learned something new in the GCP, where more into the practical, like how we can create a virtual machines, or how we can run our solutions over the compute services, or store some data over the storage services. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bridge. Regarding the project, can you share the deadline and all? Yeah.
And the deadline is 30th of July, and you need
And
to
we'll
write a
be
blog.
sharing the form and everything in the Discord itself. So stay
Yeah.
connected there. Yeah. Thank you so much. If you have no questions, maybe I'll just stop recording, and
Yeah.
thank you everyone. Have a great weekend ahead, Sunday, and see you all again next time.
Yeah. Thank you so much.